We're
Hi,
live.
everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Summer Wilson. I'm an independent consultant, independent manager. So today I had Dana Lucanis on as the executive director on our team training. So she's going to tell you about her story, and then we're going to ask her questions that relates to our Pink Zebra business. So
Awesome.
take it away, Dana. Thank you.
Yay. Okay, so welcome or thank you for letting me jump on your page and talk to you guys a little bit. You want me to tell my why, kind of how I got
Yes, yes,
started?
please.
Okay. So I joined Pink Zebra in 2011, and I was and excuse me, I don't usually talk this low, but I got a congested something going on, so I sound weird. But anyway, so I started in 2011, and I was a senior national sales manager for a hotel company here in Texas. So I had a great job. I was a little bored with it because I'd been doing it for 20 something years, and there just was no, I don't know. I mean, I would have great years and there was no thank you. There was no, nothing. It was like, well, that's what you get paid for. So, anyway, I was kind of getting tired of that. But hey, everybody, when I joined Pink Zebra, I did it strictly because I wanted to get a discount. I love candles. I'm a fanatic about home fragrance. And so I joined just like a lot of people. I joined because I wanted 25% off on everything. And so because I was so excited about it, okay, so let me back up a little. I knew nothing about direct sales, never been in direct sales. I didn't even realize what happened in direct sales. So when I was telling my friends about it, it wasn't because I wanted somebody to join under me or I wanted them to buy from me. I was just telling them, oh my gosh, you've got to smell this. And so I had several friends that said, well, how do I want some? How do I get that? And I said, well, you can get it for 25% off, just like I'm doing. I had no idea like what I was doing at the time, but I was building a team is basically what ended up happening. So people started, hey, Kelly, yeah, we met at the Charlotte rally. Awesome, awesome. So she's heard this already. But anyway, so my team started building, and I got a phone call from Colby Waseth because the company was still kind of new. And he called me and he said, hey, congratulations, you just promoted to executive consultant. And I'm like, yay. Okay, I don't know what that means, but cool. I had no idea what it even meant. And he goes, well, you might want to go log into your back office because we have a career plan that's really awesome. And you could make some good money if you keep doing what you're doing. So anyway, long story short, I started just because I enjoyed it. I was just sharing it with people, and I thought, okay, well, let's see where this goes. My husband, Dwayne, he would go with me. We did some events here locally, and he would go with me and just kind of hang out with me during the day on the weekends. And we enjoyed that because we were kind of working together. And it was really funny because nobody had heard of us before. So every single person that came to the thing, they would say, what is Pink Zebra? And we would try to explain it to them. And back then we didn't have all the tools that we have now. So I was always fumbling over what to say. It's like, well, we have these cool little sprinkles that you put in a warmer and it makes your house smell good. And then people would always say, oh, like Scentsy. I mean, that was always like, the number one thing. It was like, we're going to get out of that. We're going to quit being compared to them. But it was okay because I would say, yes, as a matter of fact, they were the ones that kind of got this whole warmer thing going. And so now it's a trend and we're right in on it as well. And so anyway, long story, my story gets longer every time I tell it, I think. But I started realizing that not only from my own sales, because I had an $800 party. And when I realized that I made $200 in a 2-hour time span, I was like, okay, this is cool. This is like, you need extra money. This is a perfect way to do it. So I was working on my own sales. And then I started kind of paying attention to what was happening when people would join. I got to manager fairly quickly. Again, I wasn't really focused on that. I was just trying to tell as many people as I could. And then about a year and a half into it, I guess it was, I got a pretty decent sized check. And that was when my husband was like, this is really, we need to focus in and really pay attention to what's going on here because there's some good potential here. And then he said, well, and what happens if if you die, I mean, what happens to that money? And of course, I hate that story, but I'm like, well, it just goes away. And so he said, well, then I'm going to be a consultant too, because I'm telling everybody about it. And anyway, so he became a consultant, and he started having people sign up as well, because he would go and talk to all the men at these. He's a plumber. Have I told you this before, Summer? He's a plumber.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he would go to the plumbing supply house, and he was constantly talking about Pink Zebra. I even had him these little business cards made they're Pink Zebra, but they have a quote that says, what is it? Fishing on Tuesday. And so, because that was his thing, it's like, here, buy from me, because I want to be able to fish on a Tuesday. In other words, he wants to retire.
Yeah.
So anyway, Tom, at one of the reunions, Tom Gaines talked about how you have to have a goal, and you have to have, it has to be a big goal, like something significant that really makes you excited. And I realized that in my own profession in hotel sales, I always had goals. Every single year I had goals. And I realized I wasn't setting up goals for myself with Pink Zebra. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to set a goal for myself. I want to be able to quit my corporate job and do this 100% of the time, because I have fun with it. I love these people that are now on my team. I've met so many new people. We get recognized for everything that we do is, that's good. Every time we promote, we get a piece of jewelry or, whatever. And I never got that in my other job. So I just decided that was going to be my goal, is I was going to be able to quit my corporate job. And I put it on the big, you've been to Reunion, right?
Yeah.
The big signs that they have, and you write your goals. Well, I wrote it on that sign that year, and that next year I promoted to director. And then in 2016, I was able to quit my corporate job. So, and I kept those goals like in front of me all the time. I worked in the mornings, and I worked in the evenings, and I worked on the weekends. And then I didn't, and what's really funny about me is I did not want the two to cross. I didn't want anybody to be able to say, well, you didn't do a good job at the hotel at the end because you were doing Pink Zebra. So, I mean, I was very strict about working Pink Zebra and working my business. And I didn't sell to anybody there while I was working there. I didn't have anybody join my team that was working there. I was just real, fanatical about that. So, but it worked out in my better interest, because when I did leave, they were so nice and so excited for me that several of them have become my customers. So that was a plus. But Fishing on Tuesday, that's his motto. In fact, I think fishingontuesday.com is still his website. I'd have to ask him, but he actually set that up. You know how you can do GoDaddy and attach?
Yeah.
So anyway, as Kelly will tell you at Rally, Dwayne got up and told his why after I did. And, some of the things he talked about, well, now we have the Dana Napier thing. So if somebody does pass away, they can leave it to the beneficiary, which is really nice. So that was a plus, but so much has changed since we first joined this organization or this company. And one of the things that I love the most is that when we, that ideasandfeedback.com, or the email, they really literally go through that thing. I don't know if they do it once a day or once a week, but they are constantly reading through, and you'll notice a lot of the new things that they do with the shades or the fragrances. That's where they get it, is from our ideas. They listen to what we have to say. If you have a challenge or something's, you're upset about something, and you can either go to customer service or you can even go directly to Colby, and they care about each and every one of us. I mean, it's really an amazing company, because they really are invested in all of us. They really care about us. So anyway, that's one of the things that we love about it. There's so many things that we love about it now. I mean, reunions and rallies and traveling. Dwayne got choked up when he was telling his why, because he was saying he's traveled more in the last 3 years than he's traveled his entire life. And he's 50 plus. So that says a lot, just because we're always going to different things and attending different things, and we just love it so much. But he also talked a lot about how he's kind of watched me. I didn't even realize that he'd been watching all this time, but I'm involved in a lot of networking groups. And I don't just stay. I know a lot of people want to work their business on the computer, and that's fine if that's the best way for you to do it at the moment. But if you ever have a chance to get out and meet people and network with other people, your business will grow from that because you're building all these relationships. You don't have to walk in and say, here's my card and please buy from me. You just go in and talk to people, and then they want to know what you're doing and what you're up to. And it's amazing how many customers and even a few consultants that I've got just from my networking groups. But that's really what keeps me going right now is my networking groups. Because all I have to do is say, I'm short a couple of parties this month. Who's up for doing something? And somebody will jump to my, they'll jump up and say, I'll do it. So I highly recommend that if you're not in any networking groups to get into some. And then I still do events. I do parties too, but I do events because to me, there's still so many people out there that don't know about Pink Zebra, and just to strike their interest. And sometimes I've been to an event and I will get very little interaction with people. I'll try, but they're just not giving it to me. I'll attend a second time, like the next season or the next year, and all of a sudden they'll talk to me. And I think it's because they just see the logo and they recognize it. And so then they're more inclined to talk to you. Does that make sense? It's like there's a comfort zone all of a sudden, and they don't know why, but it's because they've seen it before. We tend to be more open when we've seen something before. So, events are a great way to meet people and get recruits and party hosts as well. So, there's this business is anything you want it to be. If it's a hobby, if it's because you want to make new friends, if it's because you want to quit your corporate job, it's really whatever you want it to be. It's just a matter of setting yourself some goals and priorities. So that's me. That's my why. My why going forward is I do want to get to presidential director, because I think that at presidential director, and then Dwayne to get to executive manager, because he does want to retire, and we'd like to buy a new house. I want a bigger house so we can have bigger Pink Zebra parties here locally, because we're busting the seams when we do them now. So that's my why.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's fun. Thanks for letting me share. And sorry, Kelly, you had to hear it all again.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. So what other things do you have? If anybody has questions, ask anything. I'm happy to. I'm an open book. I always tell everybody. I will give a tip if that's okay. One of the things that I have found in doing this is that we have to completely motivate ourselves. Granted, I can pick up the phone or I can get with you on, Messenger and say, hey, Summer, oh my gosh, I'm having a crappy day. Get me out of this. And we can work together like that. But we really have to wake up and be ready to go do something, even on days that we don't feel like it. And so what I have done is I have gotten really, I don't want to say strict with myself, because now it's just a part of my day, but I get up every morning and I listen to motivational speaking. I also do some Bible study, but that's just me personally. Some people may do that or may not, but the motivational speaking helps tremendously to just get me in the right frame of mind to go forward for the day. If it's while I'm in the shower and putting my makeup on, or, if maybe I'm drinking coffee and I'm just trying to hear it, or you can even listen to it when you're driving to work. But if you can get yourself in that right frame of mind every day that you're trying to work your business, it will make a huge difference. And what I have found over the course of these last several months is that because I do that every day, when negative stuff is coming at me, it's like I have I can deflect it. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I'm equipped to handle it a little better. Not always. Sometimes I still flip out, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, you get these, like, people will be wigging out over something that happened on Facebook. And so what I try to do is think about, okay, what if I was listening to my motivational speaker right now, what would I do? And then turn it around and try to find the positive about the situation or whatever. Or something happened yesterday and I told the consultant, you absolutely should take that to Colby. Absolutely. 100%. I didn't try to talk her out of it. tell her to get off the ledge. I just said that needs to go to Colby. Absolutely. So, I mean, some things obviously have to go higher up, but for the most part, it has helped me tremendously just getting that feedback every day for myself, because we have to do it for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Gotta stay positive. Gotta stay positive.
So can you talk about if you give out free samples to people that you meet every day, or when you interact with people throughout your day, when you leave your house and go places to run errands?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of funny that you say that, because I always used to say, even when you're standing in line at the grocery store, until I had to do it. And then it's kind of like, okay, that's just really awkward. You don't just start randomly talking to somebody and hand them your business card or even a sample. Now, some people can do it and get away with it because they just have that gift. I do not have that gift. So what I do, if I'm standing in a grocery store line and there's a person in front of me that looks like they're nice and in a good mood, I will strike up a conversation about something, whether it be something that's on the magazine there, or, I mean, it can be anything random. And if they reciprocate with me and we can talk for a couple of minutes, then I can say something like, especially if they have, obviously if they have flowers in their cart, because then you can say, oh my gosh, I have a fragrance company and we just got this fragrance that if you love the smell of flowers, you would love this, whatever. Or if they have candles, and you can say, here, take my card, just check out my website if you're ever interested in seeing something that you can actually just put in a warmer, and you can still make a candle with it. But if you don't want to make a candle, you can put it in a warmer. So you can find things to talk about, but 9 times out of 10, and I'm standing in line, even if I strike up a conversation, there's not an opportunity for me to say, oh, and by the way. So I just try to see if there's an opportunity, because I don't want it to get awkward. The last thing you want to do is look like a stalker. You know what I mean? But this is the other thing that I do, and this works. So I have Pink Zebra shirts, a ton of them in my closet. My husband will tell you I have a ton. So I will either wear a shirt, or if I'm going to one of my networking meetings, I have my little Pink Zebra pin, and I have something with Pink Zebra on me all the time, because 9 times out of 10, if somebody is standing, if it's in an elevator or you're standing somewhere for more than a couple of minutes or seconds, somebody will say, what is Pink Zebra? Or that's a pretty pin. And then it opens up this is my business and this is what I do. It's home fragrance and decor. If you would ever like a sample or anything, here's my card. I carry a few samples. I only give out a sample if I really feel like it's an opportunity. And I try not to give out a sample unless I can get that person's information as well. Because if you give somebody a sample and they walk off with it, are they going to call you? Probably not. Are they going to go to your website? Probably not. So if you can get their information, then you can follow. And you can even say, I have a sample right here. I would love to give this to you. If you'll give me your number, I just would want to follow up with you to make sure that you like it. See what you think about it. And then they say, well, no, thanks, I'm not interested. Well, that's fine. But at least get somebody's information so that you have an opportunity to follow up. Otherwise, I do not hand out samples at events. If somebody wants something, they will buy a $9 jar or 10, whatever you've marked it up to. But I don't give samples at events, because otherwise all I'm going to do is I used to give samples at events. All I did was give out samples. Nobody had to buy anything, because they got that. They smell this and they walk away. If they walk and they want to smell it again, but if they walk away with this little bitty sample, that's all they got to do is keep smelling it. And they don't ever come back and buy a jar from you. Whereas you just let them smell it, sit it down, and they walk off, they're going to come back and buy a jar if they're like craving that scent again. So that's just my tip. I know a lot of people love to give samples, but I have just found that it is not worth it for me to give samples at an event at all. I don't give them out at parties. That's what they're there for, is to buy something. And it's $9. And they can have a whole jar. You know what I mean? I do have one with me. Looky here. So sometimes, like my networking groups, each month they do get a sample from me of whatever the new fragrance is going to be. And I put them in these little things. Normally I punch a hole in my business card and I attach my business card to it, but I just made some of these. But I just put it in this. Huh?
Is it the sachets?
Yeah.
Sachet bags? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's perfect. And a lot of times they'll leave it in their car and then they'll come back, later and say, I've got to have that scent. I love it. It's in my car. I want it in my house, whatever. But that's different because you're at a networking event and you're promoting that if you want this, you can, and then I talk about the lotion and all that kind of stuff with the VIP thing. But otherwise I just don't give out a lot of samples. But that's just me. I mean, when I first started it, I gave out a ton of samples. I just wasn't seeing any reward from that. So everybody does it. Do what works for you. You know what I mean? Because if it works for you, then don't stop. I mean, do it. I've always said that. Whatever works for you. Some people are super good at social media. And if that's the way they get their business, then by golly, keep doing it. Because, do what works for you. I know what works for me. So that's what I do. What else you got?
Another thing I was thinking about, can you tell people why they shouldn't buy on the closeout groups and give that story?
I hate closeout groups. Okay. I'm just going to be real here.
It tells me they don't get no commission or
right. So closeout groups, all you're doing is helping somebody else get rid of their product. It makes me crazy because you're not getting any sales volume. There is no guarantee if the product gets to you or if it gets to you and it's intact. You don't have any recourse. There's nothing. At least if you order it from the company, you've got recourse. You send in a trouble ticket if something's wrong. One of my level 1 consultants, when she first joined, I told her, she said, I'm going to join this group because I can buy a whole bunch of stuff really cheap. And I told her, I said, please be aware of that because number one, it's not helping you with your quick start, but also there is no guarantee on these things. Well, she got a box of sprinkles. And when she went to open them, she didn't realize that they were packaged horribly. And so one of the jars was broken. She went to grab it because it wasn't in the regular little box. And when she did, glass went into her hand and it almost severed one of the little, what is that called that you can actually move your hand with? Yeah, nerve. Thank you. So, and she contacted the person and they were like, well, sorry. It's maddening because like I said, there's no recourse and you don't know how they're packaging it and you don't know if it was used. I've heard stories about people that have gotten things that didn't have any smell anymore. Well, because they had it for a year and it just didn't have the same potency anymore. So, and the biggest thing is that it doesn't go towards your sales volume. And you want everything to go towards your sales volume if you're working this as a business. Yeah, I hate them. I'm not in any of them. I know that there are some decent ones out there that only do past product that if your customer calls you and says, oh my gosh, I've got to have Floral Breeze from your very first season. I don't have any more. I get that. If that's the reason you're doing it, then I guess it's okay, but not really because you want that sense of urgency for your client when you do have something like Berry Fields that comes out that she needs to smell because she would like it as much as Floral Breeze. You can just work on your sales tactics and think about what would smell like that we have now and get them to try that instead of trying to go back to those groups. So sorry. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but that's what I think of those groups.
That's what I think of them, but that's just me. Anyways, my next question is, can you share with people why you should be consistent in your business and how it helps?
That's a great question. That is such a good question. So yes, okay, I will give you perfect examples. I can't use names, but I've been doing this now for over 6.5 years, y'all. And I am consistent. I have always been consistent. I will say that is one thing I can say, pat myself on the back. I'm consistent. People know how to find me. I have team members that will disappear. They'll just disappear for 2 or 3 months and then come back and say, well, how come I can't get anybody to have a party? Or how come I can't get my team to interact with me? And I'm like, okay, because they didn't know where you went, first of all, or they'll go join another company, right? Disappear, go do this for a little while, and then decide, okay, well, that wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, so I'm going to go back to Pink Zebra, and then their customers no longer interested, or they're thinking, okay, I have a friend, she's a friend of mine, she sells so many different things, I don't go to her parties anymore, because I'm like, what are you doing now, girl? I mean, you're not sticking with anything. I never know what to expect from her. That's what you don't want people to think of you. When they think of you, you want them to think Pink Zebra, period. That's it, nothing else. And if you have a team, I don't know how many people on here have a team. If you have one person on your downline, you have a team. And you don't want your team to see you going off and doing all these other things and then expecting them to work their Pink Zebra business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it. There's some people out there that love to do several things and they do them as a hobby. And I'm not knocking those people. I'm really talking here to people that are trying to work this as a business. Does that make sense?
Yes. Plus, with that, I'm going to say that when you do two companies and not focused on one, you don't have the energy to put focus to one company.
Right.
And the money and the time, and you'll be so disorganized and scatterbrained and not focused all over the place and look like a hot mess.
Right. And I say this, okay, so that is exactly right. But it pertains to direct sales companies, because when I worked my corporate job, it was a totally different thing. I wasn't my own boss. This wasn't, my hotel sales was a job that I knew every day. I reported to somebody else. I had numbers I had to do. That was something totally different. When you're doing direct sales, you've got to be creative. You got to talk to lots of people. You got to make sure your team is aware of what's happening and what's going on. It's up to you to go into the back office to find out what's happening right now. It's up to you to get on Consultant Corner or whatever page to see what's happening. So to do that 2 times, like with 2 direct sales companies, there's no way. There is no way I could do that. No way. I'm not that talented. And I don't know too many people that have tried it that have been successful at it when it's a business.
And not only that, like with 2 direct
enemies.
sales companies, you can't succeed and expect to be where, I'm going to give you all example, like where Dana is at the moment. She's an executive director. You cannot go all the way to the top with with more than 2 companies. It's not going to happen. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll notice even at reunion, we always used to say, watch the people that go up on stage that get awards or that are recognized are people that are working one direct sales business. It's really hard to have, because think about it. I mean, just imagine having to, if you're focused on trying to get parties, you're having parties for Pink Zebra and whatever. I mean, that would just be so hard. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how anybody can continue to rise to the top if they're doing 2. Now, if you're working a corporate job, you could totally, I mean, I got to director. Actually, I was still at executive director is when I quit the corporate job. So that was 2016. I managed to get to executive director working my corporate job. So that is a possibility. Absolutely. But again, you're not your own boss trying to create a whole entire business. You're going and you're working for somebody else and you're doing that. And then you're focused on all this other stuff you got to do. Doing this twice, I don't think you could get to director or executive director. I don't think anybody could do it. I don't mean to be a downer, but I don't think it's possible.
So with consistency, can you explain why you should at least do 1 hour a whole day or more on focusing on your business?
Yeah. Well, okay. So the biggest thing for me in the beginning, especially when I was working my corporate job, it was very important for me to find the time to at least spend an hour working my business, because if you notice, it's kind of like going to the gym. If I go to the gym Monday through Friday every week, and all of a sudden Monday comes and I go, I'm not feeling it today. I think I'll go tomorrow. Well, then tomorrow comes. Well, guess what? Yeah, I didn't go yesterday. So how about if I just wait till Wednesday? Well, the next thing you know, you have a hard time getting back into the routine. So if you do that with your business, it is so hard. Like I said, I've got girls on my front line that just disappeared. What, if it was a personal thing that went on in their life or whatever, but if they stopped being consistent, they found it to be such a struggle to come back and feel like they were really on top of things. And like I said, your customers kind of, fall off and everything else. So the biggest thing for me is you be consistent so that you show up every day, because otherwise you'll eventually just go, yeah, I'm not going to do it today. I'll do it next Monday. I'll start next week. And then it's, well, you know what? I'll start March 1st. How about that? I'll start doing it March 1st. March 1st is never going to come. I mean, it's so hard. She's trying to relaunch her business now. You can absolutely relaunch, but I'm telling you, when you do it, make sure you're doing it every day. Even if it's just 30 minutes to an hour, do something every day. Oh, that's funny because I'd forgotten I used to say this. I used to say, do 3 things a day for your business. It could be a post on Facebook. It could be reading up on something in the back office. I mean, or it could be following up with a customer or a team member. I mean, it can be little bitty things, but do something every day. Stay connected. And good luck, Cherie.
You can do it, Cherie.
Absolutely. Absolutely, she can.
And can you say why you should be organized with your business and not all over the place?
I can say it. I don't know if I am. No, I'm kidding.
You got this.
I am pretty organized. It's so funny. So just so y'all know how anal I am now. I love it. Is it the Erin Condren?
No, it's Happy Planner. I have an Erin Condren that's in my planner bag.
See, look at this. Okay, I'm just going to show y'all. I don't know if you can look at all that writing. Can you see it?
Can you bring me a napkin, please? Yeah. Oh my God, you decorate. I love it.
What?
Girl. You decorate.
Oh, absolutely. Because I got to have fun with what I'm doing. I put, so last year, about October, I decided that I needed to start physically feeling better because I found myself kind of feeling run down. So, and I had gone to gyms and done all this stuff. Well, I kept seeing this thing about kickboxing come across my Facebook page, and it was here locally. And so I reached out to him and I said, I want to know more about this. And so anyway, I ended up going in. Well, now I love kickboxing. That's my thing. I've been doing it since October. As a reward to myself, when I go kickboxing, I get to put a little sticker on my day. I'm telling you, I'm a dork. Look at this. This is my week. So I put all my appointments down here. See, I have 5 p.m. training, right? So, but that's how I keep myself organized, is my Erin Condren planner. I put all my appointments, and I put them in my phone too, but I like the color and all that stuff. And then I put everything, all my to-dos. I love it.
Color code.
I love it. I also started doing theme days. Have you heard of that? Theme days, where you do like.
Can you explain it to my team?
Yes, absolutely.
From the Misty Kearns thing?
I think she may have been the one. I got it from somebody about a year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago, and it has helped me.
To my team.
Okay. So what you do is Monday through Friday, each day has a different theme. It can be any theme you want, but what ends up happening, for example, my Monday is called Motivation Monday. So what I do on Mondays is I try to think of things that I can motivate myself, find tools for that, or motivate my team. I spend Mondays, if I'm doing a live stream on that Tuesday night, I spend Monday looking and researching whatever I can talk about. It's anything to motivate me and my business on Monday. Doesn't mean it's going to take all day. It just means at some point on Monday, I'm going to focus on that. And then Tuesday is Team Tuesday. So on Tuesdays, that's the day that my team knows they can reach out to me and say, hey, I need a one-on-one with you. So I schedule on Tuesdays my one-on-ones with everybody. And then we do our team calls on the first and third Tuesday, I think. Yeah. And then Wednesday is my work at my desk Wednesday. So that means anything from bill paying to catching up with, following up with customers, anything that I know I need to be at my desk to do. And so here's what's cool about it. And then Thursdays I do all my marketing. So I'll write my blog, or I'll do any other marketing things that I have. And then Friday is Fun Friday. So that's when I try to arrange something fun for myself to kind of as a reward or whatever. Maybe it's that I go to lunch with a friend or something like that. I just try to think about what I can do that day to have a little fun. I also do follow up on Friday too, but the cool thing about this is that, so let's say on Saturday, I'm thinking, oh, I need to make sure that I add this to my blog, or I need to make sure I take photos of the new products. So I know Thursdays are my marketing days. So I go in next week on Thursday, not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I go to Thursday and I block off a time. And so it's like whatever pops into my head, I have a specific day of the week that I'm going to put that in. So when that week comes, I have this beautiful, I mean, some things obviously get out of whack every now and then, but I have this beautiful agenda that I know I'm going to follow. And I put my parties in, obviously, and any events that I do obviously take precedence over this stuff. But at least I have a day that I go and implement whatever it is that pops into my head. It's better than making to-do lists, because to-do lists and you end up not getting it done and you move it to the next day and the next day and the next day. This way you just put it on that day because you know that day is the day you're going to handle all that stuff. So does that make sense?
Yes.
And then I have files for everything too. I have files, customer files. I don't use them as much anymore now that the back office has most of that information on what they've bought and all that kind of stuff. But I have all my event files, so that when I fill out the paperwork, I have a place that I could put everything, because it never fails. I'll realize, oh my gosh, I've got an event next week. I can't remember what the setup is supposed to be, and I can pull it all out. So I do have a little ugly filing cabinet behind me that I keep my stuff in. And I keep all my receipts. Keep all your receipts. Oh, in fact, have you heard of that new app? Mile IQ. Wait, yeah, Mile IQ.
Mile IQ. I heard of it. I started using it. I need to buy the month or the yearly subscription. Will you tell my team, please, what it is?
Yes. So I just learned about this. So what you do is you just download this to your phone, and it automatically, every time you get in your vehicle to drive somewhere, it actually puts it in your phone, and it'll ask you personal or business, and you swipe if it's personal or business. So at the end of the year, when you're doing taxes, you can just do out a little report from this and you're good to go, instead of trying to keep track of mileage, which I'm so bad at. And then knowing whether it was Pink Zebra related or not. This, I just see the thing and I swipe it to business or I swipe it to personal, and it's done. Very cool. I love that kind of organizational stuff.
You
love it.
Both. I'm so bad with mileage. I'm like, I hope I did this year this much.
You know what else? My CPA told me to do this. I have a separate email account that all that goes in there are receipts. Because you know how like you may pay for something on Facebook or PayPal or something like that, and you get an emailed receipt, or you use a Square somewhere and it says, you know, do you want to email a receipt? Instead of texting it, have them email it. And then every time you get that, you just forward it to that email. And then in the subject line, you can put what it is, the month and the day. And if you need to explain it more in the body of the thing. But at the end of the year, you can literally give, if you have a CPA, you can give that person the access to that email, and they can go in and take care of all that. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm all about organization.
Share with the team of how you do follow-ups and what method.
Okay, so for example, I had a party last Thursday, and then on Monday, I reached out to just say, you know, your items should be coming, you know, whatever. I put the orders in. I mean, I just kind of let them know. And then usually I'll ask, you know, was there anything else that you needed that maybe we missed, or, you know, whatever. But and then I always ask if they want to have a party, if they'd be interested. Now, if it's not a phone call, because some people won't answer when you call, so you can text or message them. But the biggest thing for me is to follow up pretty quick, because the longer that you wait, not only is it going to get more awkward for you to make that call, but I don't know. To me, it's just like they're so familiar with it because they were just there and they had a lot of fun. So it's okay that they're hearing from you. If you wait a month and then all of a sudden you contact them, then it's kind of like, oh God, is she going to call me is she going to call me every month? And the only reason I say that is because there's a lady with a direct sales company that does that to me, and it drives me. I'm like, I wish I had never bought anything from her because she won't. I've asked her to take me off the mailing list and she won't. But I know nobody is like that in this group. But yeah, I mean, I say follow up with them pretty shortly after. And then if they express an interest, I have one lady that expressed an interest then about having a party. I reached out to her Monday to ask if she'd thought about dates. She didn't respond. So today I sent her another message and I said, hey, I don't want to bug you. I just want, February's filling up and I don't want you to miss out on the berry fields because I know you really wanted that. Do you have a date in mind? Well, then she responded back and said, can you give me till Friday and I'll have a date for you? So, just if you respond a couple times, I think, and they don't answer at all, I kind of let it go. Maybe they're going to get the emails from the back office if you've put their email address in there. So maybe just let that be the course, to take instead of just constantly harping on them. Because some people will get turned off very quickly if you do that. The best thing to do, again, I love my networking groups because I know I'm going to see them. One group I meet with does it every other Wednesday. So I know I'm going to see them every other Wednesday. So that's my perfect follow-up opportunity. Another group is once a month. So sometimes if somebody's ordered from me, I'll follow up with them again when I think either just a couple of days later or when I know they've gotten their product, to just say, hey, did everything arrive okay? And, are you loving it? That kind of thing. So what other kind of follow-up? Oh, like events?
Yes. Yeah.
Events, you got to follow up right away. Again, they will lose any interest that they had if too much time goes by. So you almost want to do it, like if you go to an event on Saturday, you want to schedule yourself to do it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday to do your follow-ups and get it done. Because if you don't, number one, you're going to feel awkward about finally doing it when you do, because you're going to think, yeah, it's been a month. And they're going to have forgotten, Oh, this is really cool. This is something new that I started too. Hang on, let me show you. So I was at an event, and this lady, she's actually a Pink Zebra consultant, but she was telling me, actually, I saw her doing this, and then I was like, what did you just do? So on the back of my business card, I used to have that whole stick your nose in my business thing. And people look at it and go, oh, that's cute, whatever. But I left it blank so that when I'm talking to somebody and I meet somebody or whatever, and they mention something, I can say, let me give you one of my cards, but hang on just 1 second. You loved Berry Fields. And then I hand it to them. It's got you loved Berry Fields on the back. So now they have a personal, like something that I'm pointing out about them, and give them the card. That way, when they get home and they have 20 cards in their little bag that they do, at least ours has something handwritten on the back. It may work, it may not. I just started doing this, but I love the idea. And the other thing that I do as much as I can is I try to get their information back. Now, obviously at events, you can do it because they fill out that form. But when I'm meeting somebody new, even at networking, if they ask me for my card, I will say as I'm going to get it, I want one of yours as well. And if they say, oh, well, I don't have one, I'm like, well, here, I take my card, I write their information on the back of it, and I say, I will contact you. So I don't even give them a card. I have their information on the back of my card. I'm going to follow up, because I'm telling you, we hand out cards all day long. And how many times do people actually go, oh yeah, I've got your card? How many times does that happen? But if it's all in your hands to do the follow up, you can get it done. So anyway, isn't that kind of a cute idea? Writing it on the back and then, yeah. Awesome. I'm anxious to do that. I've done it a couple of times just at little events and stuff, but nothing significant. So I'm anxious to really put it into action. But I definitely try not to give out a card. If somebody tells me they don't have a card, that's what I do with this, is I write their information, because I want to be in charge. I don't want to give my card out and just have it disappear. So, What else?
Um,
Does anybody else have any questions? I think we've
y'all
lost
have
a few people.
questions, please ask them.
I know. Please do. Please, please. And some, I mean, I love the fact that home office is kind of like with the booking blitz coming up, they're giving us scripts to use. And I mean, I love that because even though I did sales for years in the hotel business, I was really more of I worked with oil and gas companies. I was more of the contract person. So I was dealing more with the legalities of it. Like I'd give them the quotes and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't about me walking up to somebody and going, hey, you want to book a meeting? So it's still very awkward for me as well. And I have found that just trying to develop relationships is the best way for me to do it because I'm all about getting out of your comfort zone, and I do it a lot, get out of my comfort zone. But I don't want to do something that's so awkward for me that I'm miserable doing it. So that's why I like to just build relationships, and it works well. Oh, you're welcome, Susan.
Can you share why people, like what you said about the discount earlier, can you share why you should tell somebody about that when they're interested in Pink Zebra?
Yeah. So, and it's funny because when I first started doing it, I wasn't even thinking. I was just thinking that everybody would want the discount because that's what I wanted. So yeah, when you're talking about the business, you can say, I signed up because I get 25% off of everything that I buy. I mean, that alone is a bonus. So they may join. I mean, look at how many people have joined this company for the discount that ended up doing something with it. There's a lot of people. So if you can get people, and yet granted, it means that your customer becomes a consultant, but that's okay. I mean, that's okay because now they're going to be not only buying it, but they're going to be talking about it with their friends. So you just have to go find a new customer, and that's okay. That's the greatest way to do it. But yeah, I mean, it's a benefit. You just tell them all you got to do is, if you want it, 25% off of everything you buy, just get a kit. It's $99 plus tax and shipping. Charlotte asked for QS1, is it 500 even or SV? 500 SV. Your sales volume needs to say 500. Yes, ma'am. And good job working on Quick Start 1. That's awesome. I love pink dollars. Pink dollars are awesome. Pink dollars are our friend. All right, what else? Anything?
Does anybody else have any questions? Please ask Dana.
You can ask me anything. Even if, the career plan, anything like that. Does anybody that's still on, or is anybody working towards a particular title right now that you're shooting for this spring or this fall? What are you shooting for, Summer?
Long term or short term?
Well, what do you want? Do you have something you want to have happen this year?
Director.
Okay. Awesome. And you got goals and everything, like steps to get there? Like,
no, I need that.
I'm telling you, that is what changed everything for me, is when I actually sat down. I used to do it with my other job. Why? I didn't think I needed to do it with this. But all it does is gives you a clear path to know, okay, I need to do this to do this. If it's a certain number of recruits that you're trying to get, or, oh, good, Kelly's going to get to executive consultant. Awesome. It's just so much fun to promote too. I mean, there's so much energy that goes into it. And then, you get recognized, and then, I don't know, it's just fun. And then you get a little extra pay. That never hurts, right?
I'll have to get with you and do a one-on-one call so you can help me see that plan. Cause
yeah, absolutely.
Me trying to look at this map, I don't understand.
Well, and so those maps are really good. But what I learned quickly is that you literally have to the people that you're putting on that map are people that like, okay, what am I trying to say here? So you're taking the team that you have and you're trying to figure out, okay, this person can totally get to executive consultant. Even if they're not there yet, you put them in as the executive consultant. And then what I would do is I would highlight everybody that was already where they needed to be. So I would highlight that person. And then I'd go back and look at, okay, so all these people are not highlighted. That means I need to work with them. And what ends up happening is even though you're working towards your own goal, when you're working with other people, there's so much joy in that to hear their excitement. Yes, I was thrilled when I hit director, but I was so excited when my executive manager hit executive manager. I mean, it's like there's just this excitement that comes about because everybody's working together and, trying to make it all happen. So, you're looking out for yourself, obviously, especially if you're trying to do this as a business because that's your income, but you're also wanting to build people up because the more you build them up and you make them feel good and they're excited about their business, but it also ends up helping you in the long run. So it's a win-win. I mean, I love this business. I wished I had known about direct sales years ago, although Pink Zebra wasn't around. So I guess maybe not, but it's an awesome business. It's a great way to do business. I don't know. It's awesome. It's awesome. I can't think of anything else. You've asked me some really good questions.
I was going to ask you something else, and then it just went through the wayside.
Do you like to read?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the book that changed my.
Hold on, let me write it down. Can you hold it up close to your face? Because when it shows me, hold on, let me write it down. Give me a moment. It's got to go in my planner, or it'll be forgotten in 5 minutes. Promise.
Speaking of that, so so I read this book in 2015 or 14. Hang on. I think it was because I talked about this last night. Oh, I don't have it written down. Anyway, I read this book, I want to say at the end of 2014, like right when it came out. And this book was I got totally invigorated by this book. No, it was 2015, because then in 2016, he talks somewhere in here about marking the day that you're going to make it happen, that you're going to take that leap of faith. I went and literally wrote in my Erin Condren that year, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, that I was going to quit my job that day. And of course, that day came and my boss took the day off and didn't come in. So I had to do it on that following Monday. But what happened was it totally got my mind thinking, this is what I have to have fall into place before that day gets here. So, man, I was on like a real push. I really, really pushed myself that year.
And who is that by, Dana? I'm sorry.
His name it's Brendon Burchard, Brendon. Susan's familiar with this because I talk about him all the time. Burchard is Burchard.
Thank you.
Yes, it's an awesome book. He just really he gives you that ability to find your personal freedom is the best way to explain it. But if you're into motivational stuff, he also does podcasts. He's awesome. Right now I'm reading High Performance Habits. So I just keep learning more and more from him. You can see I've got tons of books back here. I read other books as well, but I just keep getting drawn back to Brendon Burchard because I just really love his personality, and he just, I don't know, there's just something, he speaks to me somehow.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock, so we don't want to keep them on here for too long, but.
No.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to leave me in the group for 24 hours or whatever, if anybody has any questions that they didn't want to ask here, or if anybody's watching the replay and they want to ask, feel free to, ask and tag me so I know. And then,
and if anybody wants in Dana's group, she has training Tuesdays on the first and the third Tuesday every month.
Yeah.
Her trainings are phenomenal. I love Mama Dana, as I call her.
You're so sweet. And Dwayne's always with me too.
Yep, Papa
And
Doug.
Papa Dwayne. Yeah, that we enjoy doing that together. That's a lot of fun. In fact, I think next week we have a call, don't we?
Yes.
Yep.
It's
next
the
week.
Tuesday.
Yep. Yep. We have a call next week. So
encourage people why they should go to reunion.
Oh,
make it happen. If they don't have the money, start saving now.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing, it's so cool because and this year it's even less expensive, right? So
yes.
I know, I love it. So it's less expensive to go, but it's, I have not missed one. I went the very first time just because I was like, I'm trying to get into this thing. I'm trying to understand what it's all about. I left there feeling like a part of the family. It's such a, that's how I met you, right? Yeah.
It was in Nashville.
It wasn't, I was going to say, I knew it was a couple of years ago.
That was my first one because Mama wanted me to sign up a year prior, and I'm like, whatever. You're full of crap. But I love you, Mama, because I know you on here.
That's right. But yeah, the reunion, you learn a lot. You get to meet the founders, and Tom and Kelly are the most genuine, kind people. They love to interact with everybody and talk to everybody and meet everybody. And there's really good training. And the biggest thing is that you just get to meet people. I mean, I've met so many amazing people, and it's just fun. I mean, I can remember, I guess it was 2 years ago, one of the ladies that's in my downline, she had never traveled by herself. She didn't want to go. I kept saying, oh, but I promise you would love this so much. And she finally said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to go, but I'm a nervous wreck. I've never traveled alone, blah, 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 whatever. So I kind of kept tabs with her the whole time, making sure she got there okay. She absolutely, she left there saying, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. This company is awesome. And she's amazing. I mean, she's moved on up and good things have been happening for her. So it changes everything. It really does. It's amazing. Dwayne joined right after the first reunion because he enjoyed it so much and was like, how do I get into this and make sure that I continue to make some money? Because like I said, back then they thought if somebody passed away, you just lost it. But I hate that story because that means, we were talking about me dying and him wanting my business. I'm like, dude, that's so not cool. But now I get it. So, but yeah, you don't want to miss it because it's so amazing. It's so amazing. And you meet awesome people. So, and if you do go, find me and come say hello for sure. Because I love meeting people. Don't I, Summer?
Yes. Or you can find me and then I'll track Dana down because
that's right.
I have her phone number.
That's right. You know how to find me.
It was funny. I had your business card on my floor the other day because I was cleaning my office and I just throw stuff randomly on my floor and then I organize it and pick it up. I'm like, I had Dana's business card.
That is so funny. I guess I handed it to you, huh? I love it.
It had your picture on it. That's why I'm keeping it.
Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing I do love about the card with the picture on it. You'd be amazed at how many people see the picture. And then when they see you later, they're like, oh, you're that pink zebra lady. Yeah. Because realtors do this. That's what they do. That's where I got the idea. Realtors put their picture on their business card. And that's why they want people to remember them, not just by the company name, but like, oh yeah, I remember meeting her. It's kind of cool. So anyway, but yeah, y'all feel free if you think of any questions. And like I said, be sure to tag me so that I know to look back because there's a lot of groups out there. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dana, for coming on and training my team and helping us. I really appreciate it. Well,
hopefully it helped a little bit, but I know you do an awesome job. So, but thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me.
Welcome.
I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see some of you guys next Tuesday.
Yes. And if you want on Dana's team training group, please PM me or message Dana because I'll be limited electronics the next few days probably till the 10th of next month. So, with that being said, please message somebody on your download.
Yeah. Or send me a message. Send me a message and I'll be happy to add you. So you guys are so welcome. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well,
bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya. Thanks, Summer.
You're welcome.